Welcome back to another episode of yours truly, Trisha. Today I have a very special guest with me, Chef Nuit, who is very close to our family. In fact, Harper's middle name is Nuit. I know you know that. But if you could, I would love if you could do a little introduction of yourself for everyone.
สวัสดีค่ะ I'm Chef Nuit, regular executive chef and co-owner of restaurants Pai, Kin, Sukhothai, Chayo by Pai, and catering by Chef Nuit, catering and event by Chef Nuit.
Oh, I didn't know that too. I have to say though, out of all your success in all the restaurants, the most inspiring part about you and your story is your love story with Jeff. It's actually, I find it so wonderful. So I was hoping that you could just share a little bit about the love story, because that to me is the definition of success.
Yeah, love story. It began in a small town in Thailand named Pai, which is now we open one of the restaurants named Pai as well. And I think the beginning of it was, to me, I really think that things happen for a reason. And for that, back then I was very clear about somehow I was like end up to the same trip with Jeff. And even though I've been living in Pai for quite a while, back then I was a nurse and chosen to go to Pai town just to work at the hospital there.
Really?
Yes, and I've been through like lots of long story that not so everyone can become a nurse there, but it had to be the designated, right? So I was supposed to be in the bigger restaurant, bigger hospital, because the level that like when they chosen students when we into nursing program. So my number is like quite high, so then they put me in a bigger hospital. But then when I graduated, I decided that I like to go to work at Pai Hospital.
Really?
So I've been like the idea of want to be in Pai Hospital was happened when I was in probably grade 8 or grade 9. That when I traveled through the town and I chosen where I want to live when I grow up. And I found that Pai was sing to me. Like when I go to the town and I felt like it's suddenly everything moves slowly. You can see everything very clear.
You feel it.
And you feel it. And I was like, this is feel like something that strange. And I told myself at that time, I think I was in grade 7 and grade 8, I want to come back to this town and I want to become a nurse here. But then things like many years after when I graduated from high school, I went back to the town and I have to do the test because they want only 15 nurses, students to a scholarship to go to become a nurse, and there's so many thousands of students in that years that apply to want to become a nurse, and I was lucky enough that I was one of them. And the assigned hospital was in Pai. I was like, wait, it's okay. I will come back and I will make sure that I can come back to Pai Hospital. So when I graduated, I very brave to ask the head of the department to take care of new nurses. And they asked me, they said, what do you have any questions? And I was like, I like to ask if I can change my hospital from this hospital to Pai Hospital. And everyone was shocked. They was like, no one ever challenged. No one ever asked to go from the biggest hospital to a small hospital that they need only one nurse for that year. And I remember that time the doctor, which is he's at that position, he asked me, why? Why would you want to go to Pai? I said that I would love to live in Pai town. And I want to be able to help people in the area. So I really think that my expertise and my time would be more useful if I can go to work at Pai Hospital. And surely, like they allow me. Everyone was like so
surprised that you wanted to leave this big hospital.
That's why that was like everything. Most of it in my life, I always been always carefully planned and want to like always achieve how like a small little thing that I plan and I dream of, right? So then I met Jeff wasn't a plan. So this was like,
He wasn't part of the plan. That's
how
right.
was this happen?
Yeah.
So the idea was my friends came visit to the town during that time, and they want to go to elephant ride. Back then, 20 years ago, traveling through the learning part of how local they used to ride the elephant, and
Okay.
we work together and things like that. I never want to ride elephant, but then my friend was like, just come along, and then you can see, you feel like you can do it, and you can just join us,
Yeah.
right? So at the time it's three rider with Jeff, my friend, and myself.
Yeah.
I was like walking along for a while. I wasn't like want to ride because I saw that the elephant, two people, it should be enough.
Yeah.
But she's like huge and
Yeah.
very nice and very kind.
Yeah.
So I can feel the eyes that look at me and like a very kindness. It's just inviting.
Yeah.
And I felt, okay, maybe
I'm going to-
I can do it. I can experience this because the connecting, the feeling of it,
With the
right? So
elephant.
they were walking on the concrete road for a while, and I was like, this is not so bad. They're probably going to return
Yeah.
back to the camp soon, so I will be sitting for maybe a couple minutes. And surely I tapped the elephant keeper, which he didn't really speak Thai, and he saw me and he just sent me up and in front of Jeff, not behind my friends. And I was like, what's going on?
That was your first time ever meeting him.
Yeah,
Okay.
at the day at
Yeah.
the elephant at the office, and when I first walked in, I saw someone standing in front of a table. I just saw it from the back, so, and I feel very strange, and I feel like something like normal. But I don't really talk to him because he's very quiet. I feel very like people say butterfly, but I was like, I don't understand. But that time, you feel like very strange. But yeah, so then later on, when I have to be in front of him, and then the elephant, she decided to turn right, and I was like, I have no idea. Like there is a tall glass that she walked up, and then there's a small road just this much. And we have one picture that the elephant keeper took picture at that time, and you can see that how terrified I was, like in the front on that picture. But then the story was like she's supposed to, the elephant herself, she's supposed to walk downhill.
Yeah.
And a very small road, instead of she just kneel down.
Oh,
Crawl
really?
down. And when she kneeled down, I felt like I'm gonna roll
Yeah.
off the
elephant,
neck.
yeah.
And at some point, Jeff probably say something. I don't know what he say. He's very like a very soft
Yeah.
spoken. Say something, and then it's just like instead of like he grabbed me or thing, he's very nice and push his hand like that. And I felt okay. At least he pushed his hand to push, right? So then I can be inside that hand, so I don't want to
Yeah.
fall. And I feel like this is very generous of him.
Yeah.
And from that, I feel like he's my hero at the point.
Oh,
Right?
so sweet.
Yeah, and after that, I really thankful for what his gesture and also very polite. So then I start to have a couple conversation, probably say hi or hello or my name is and
Yeah.
things like that. Back then my English wasn't that good.
Okay.
So then, yeah, it start from there. And I think 4 years after that, I asked to marry me. And after that, a year, so I moved to Canada.
It's,
a
I feel
long-
goosebumps. But it seems that you guys, you do a lot of things based on connection, and that's what I'm hearing. So
Yes.
what, I guess the next question would really be like, what brought you to Canada? Like, how did you make that decision to go to Canada as a couple?
I know that I can be anywhere if I have my heart and my family. Even though I chosen to live in Pai, at that time I would never ever leave Pai, Thailand. And Jeff came along, and I tried to see if he can speak more English because he can live in Thailand.
Yeah.
But surely at that time, not so much work that foreigner can work and
Yeah.
can live in Thailand because the barrier
Of the language.
the language. So I thought that I can speak some English and I can speak better English in the future if I get to learn more. And I thought that it would be easier for myself to move
Oh, okay.
better than for him to move
To
to
stay.
to Thailand,
Yeah.
right? So then I decided to move here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. And how did you guys decide to open up a restaurant? Like, how did that decision,
Well-
was that something you were doing in Thailand? I don't know this part of the story.
The restaurant was in the first idea when I come to Canada because my professional background was a nurse.
Nursing, yeah.
And one day, Jeff always say that he want to have a restaurant in Canada because he enjoys so much having a restaurant in Thailand. So during working as a nurse, I also opened a restaurant in Pai.
Okay.
The small restaurant used it named the Curry Shack back then. So I was cooking and hoping that one day I can pass along my restaurant to my brother
Yeah.
when I am not living in Thailand, so then he can have something that
Yeah.
he can work because he graduated from university that he have to work in the big city.
Okay.
But then because I love pie so much and I try to bring him in
Yeah.
and show him that how wonderful life,
Yeah.
the simple life, and if you have a restaurant so you can continue your living life here. In the afternoon he will close the restaurant and he go play in Thailand we call football or soccer.
Yeah.
For exercise, and then in the evening you can come back to open a restaurant, so
Yeah.
make a living for taking care of your
Yeah.
family. So I thought all about that and I planned. I said, okay, here this is your business startup, and I run it during I live there.
Yeah.
And Jeff happened to be there helping me setting up.
He enjoyed it.
And he enjoyed it. And he said, one day when I come to Canada, I want to open my own restaurant in Canada. I didn't think it was that early. I came to Canada in 2006 and I have my daughter 2007 and we opened a restaurant in 2008. So
very cool.
short
Yeah.
time.
Oh, wow.
Very challenged at the beginning though.
And I know Marley. She's, how old is Marley now?
She's 17 now.
Oh my goodness.
So I think we opened when she was about 9 or 10 months.
Oh, wow. So that's a lot.
Like 16 years.
And do you find that you have brought a lot of the Curry Shack to your restaurants here in Toronto?
Yes, the Curry Shack served special curry, which is in a coconut.
Okay.
So young coconut that I cut the coconut and then we scoop the coconut meat to
Yeah.
mix it with green curry. That's the style that I love to eat and serve in Thailand. So when we came here to Canada, the first restaurant we opened named Sukhothai.
Yeah.
At that time, not many of the coconut in the market,
Yeah.
so I didn't get to make the green curry in coconut. But I managed to have it in a restaurant named Pie,
Yeah.
where we just celebrate our 10 years
Yes.
anniversary last month.
Oh, was it?
Yes.
Oh, happy anniversary. Oh my goodness.
Thank you. Yeah. So we opened Pie, and I think that the coconut curry, green coconut curry, is one of a must that I have to put into the menu. So now
It's my favorite order, actually.
thank you. So now that you can have green curry with young coconut meat at Pie Restaurant. That is one menu that connected with the Curry Shack when I opened many years ago.
Would you say then that is the one thing that sets your restaurants apart from other Thai restaurants in the city?
I would say one of the things, because I believe that the setting apart from many restaurants over 10 years ago was the home cook style that I cooked, and the authentic of how I use my ingredients, how I make the flavor of the food to the taste that I learned and I eaten and I like from Thailand.
Yeah.
So first when I opened Sukhothai, many of people would just come and surprise that my pad Thai is slightly dark brown
not
color.
red.
It's not red.
Yeah.
And I even have a guest that called me out that you don't know to cook pad Thai. Yeah, because I didn't add ketchup in my pad Thai. So back then that is
Different.
many of pad Thai orangey in color. And the setting apart from many restaurants at that time was I decided to make exactly what I would just cook and eat back home.
Yeah.
And then when guests here taste it, they was like, oh, this is different.
Yeah, and it tastes so good.
And it tastes so good. And I was like, yeah, this is how I would just doing it in Thailand. And now that's become like people talk about, become word of mouth. And then people realize, restaurant nowadays realize that to cook exactly how you would serve and eat in back home. That is will be the way to show our culture of the food, of the Thai food, instead of try to adapt or try to cut corners of some ingredients because some of them didn't have it here. So then now you can see that many restaurants, Thai restaurants become more very tradition, like so different regions that pop up nowadays. The food is very different from over 10 years ago.
I know, it really has. And it's, I find it's so much better. But I have to say, and Emil says this all the time actually, he says, you can tell your food is cooked with love. That I think is the key. And
that one of the ingredients that will set us apart, because I feel that when I cooked, and I'm very happy when I'm cooking, when I'm doing things, so then that's the passion that pass along into the products that, like the creative that I create. So food is, to me, is like artistic, it's like an art. I cook this dish and each dish not always like the same because each time of the heat and the time of the year, the vegetable is different and all things like that. But our team that I train them, I try to teach them the flavors, like the things that this is the main component, the sweet, sour, salty, spicy, like the complex, the balancing. Each dish have different flavors and balance. So when over time they learn that and they try to perfect it to the way that I taught them. So that's how we keep our consistency. And not just that, I try to use science to add on to that. We try to do the portion control. We scale all the product that's gonna go into one dishes. And then we, buy that. So then the cook or the chef that cook them doesn't have to adjust so much. So then it's very smaller consistency that can be changed, right? So that's why. So I look into the detail and set the plan.
No, it's
so
I can tell. I mean, every time we go, it's always incredible. I can appreciate that. And Emil always says it's always cooked with love. He's a chef, a home chef. The other, I guess, how has the restaurant, and just back to your love story with Jeff, how has it influenced your relationship with Jeff?
I think, if anything, will make our love stronger, because there is not always when the honeymoon period, right? So that not always that, but because we work together, so the understanding, the forgiving, the arguing, and all that stuff become part of the learning to grow together, to keep our bonding even stronger and growing more and more. So
I admire, obviously I follow the posts, and you guys travel a lot together and celebrate birthdays and love and your anniversary, and you travel somewhere different all the time. And I see you, when you guys write your book, I feel it. I feel the work.
That is Jeff. Jeff has his passion. He loved traveling. And because of our circumstance of working and having kids and all that stuff, like the traveling times for ourselves, not so many. So when the time that for celebrating, he just go all out. He just he plan, all that, and I couldn't do it myself.
But you know what? That speaks to your love, the love for each other, because a lot of couples, it's hard to take that time away and say, you know what, we need this. And so it's so nice when I see the pictures. I'm always like, oh, I tell Emil, like, it's time for us to go. We have to go to Iceland, and it looked amazing. And then and you've answered a lot of these questions, actually. I guess my question really is like, what are the challenges that comes with managing all of these restaurants? And I know you're so grounded, but how do you balance that all? Like, how are you doing it, really?
Being like a leader for restaurants, not just one, and have to take care of our team, where it's like many hundreds of us. it's challenging.
Yeah.
It's challenging, of course, because nature of work, there's always going to be some conflict. There's always going to be some issue that we have to solve the
Yeah.
problems. To me, I feel that life is not never easy. And growing up, I have honed my skill of handling situations and lots of problems, which is thank you to the way that my mother would
Yeah.
raise me and allow me to learn, to experience.
Yeah.
And from that, and I get to use that into my work now. I would say that having a great partner, a great husband like Jeff is a great help, because lots of times in my weakness area, he would just be there and support and
Yeah.
show me the different opinions
Yeah.
and different perspectives.
Yes.
So I get to learn in that way as
Yeah.
well. And not just that, I'm very lucky to have surrounded myself with great people.
Yeah, you have a good
And,
team.
Yeah, the great team. So
Yeah.
that's why I feel like it's like an X-Men. When you the weakness, someone would just
Step
be
up,
there.
yeah, to be
the strength, and then we work together as a team. So then it's allow us to grow even stronger and happier. So that's I would just like that. All the success and all the great things that happen is because I'm just surrounded
You're
with
good,
the
good people.
with the good people.
And they say that, right? When you have good people, you can do great things, right? I have to ask, because you work so much, what would be your ideal day off? How would you spend a day off?
Day off. I think being a restaurateur like myself, I would say we work 24/7. There is I don't recall that I have a day off.
Okay.
Max would be like a half a day.
Yeah.
That I would recall, but
And what would you do in that half a day? What would be your one thing if you could do it in half?
if half a day off, I like to go out and sitting in either in my backyard or walking in my area, going to walk, being in the nature.
Yeah.
That is the way that I love. And now during this time when flowers blossom, so I like to walk in the neighborhood, go out to look at the flowers blossom,
nature,
just walk to someone like the front yard, and they have beautiful roses.
Yeah.
And I look around and no one see me, and I just like
No, no, and that's so important to slow down. And I can imagine someone, like you said, you loved pie and living there and slow living, and now being in the city and the hustle and bustle of a restaurant, it's sometimes important to take that time to smell someone else's flowers.
I have mine too, but mine just start to blossom, and I was like, I want more roses in my lawn. And then go out to look at everyone garden, or just look at the bird that just flew by, and try to do bird watching, walk in the park to see the pack birds and all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
That would be
your ideal day.
Idea for day off.
And what would you make at home, like a typical dish you would make at home outside of the restaurant?
Oh, I got to say that even though I love cooking a lot, right? So I used to cook a lot at home.
Yeah.
But I think the particular times that I prepare and cooking, it's so many steps.
Okay.
And it's by many steps, like many hours
Yeah.
of doing things. When the family hungry, they're still looking at me, enjoying, cutting, shopping, doing
Taking
that.
your
They was
time,
like, Jim was like, how gonna take? And I was like, this still need to stew, to do that. And that is become a point for them, that when I said I'm gonna cook, everyone looked at each other, and then they was like, don't cook anymore.
It takes too long.
They was like, okay, let's go out to try new restaurants that you never try yet, or doing something else instead of you cooking. And then I was like, why? You don't want?
Yeah.
I cook. And they was like, we love it, Mama. We don't want you to work. They don't want to say that it takes too much time. They was like, we want you to relax.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
At first, I bought into that and thought, because
It's a
they
good
don't want-
idea.
But then I just realized, I don't think they want me to relax. Maybe because I take long time to cook.
Probably.
Yeah, so that's one part of it. But
Would it be a tradition? Would you cook Thai food at home then? Probably.
most of the time,
Yeah.
Thai food and yeah. But now my kids can cook by themselves. My son and my daughter, they love to cook
Do
and love to
they?
bake. And even last night, she baked a cake pop.
Really?
Like
Those
I
are
was
not
like,
easy.
yeah, no, it's so nice and moist and delicious, and she even do like great with the white chocolate, dark
Right.
chocolate, milk chocolate, and I was like, what time is it? So you have to go to school tomorrow, and she was like, no, I'm just gonna go for last day of school, right? So then I let her stay up, and she would make her
Really?
bake to bring it to share with her friends because she's allergic to nuts,
Is
right?
she?
So then not often time that we can go out and buy history.
Yeah.
Even though she would love to look at it, but then it may contain.
Is that a new allergy?
Yeah, she developed that when she was 9 years old.
Okay, yeah, because I don't remember that.
Yeah, and every year she was like, Mom, we have to check it. Maybe I grow out of it. And we went this year, no. And
Nice.
she developed at the later of
Yeah.
her life, 9 years old. So it's very quick to react again.
Really?
So she have to be careful
Yeah.
and carry EpiPen for more. And that's why it's encouraged her even more to just make what she want to eat.
Yeah, oh, but
Because I didn't want to do it for her because I don't want for her to overeat because when I cook a lot, right? So then
and cook slowly.
and she was like, don't worry, Mom, I'll do it myself. And then she would just, whatever she want to eat, she would just make it.
Did you actually spend time teaching her how to cook, or was it just her being in the environment?
I will just supervise her, and I would try to tell her the technique and the thing without telling her exactly what she have to do because
Okay.
I know that self-taught like myself,
Yeah.
growing up, it's like you can remember it for a long time.
Yeah.
But again, like some of the part that she couldn't doing it, she would ask me and I would tell her. Or sometimes I come and I said, it will be better if you try this way.
Yeah.
And instead of, okay, you have to do this. But she would try and say, oh, thank you, Mom, for the tip or the technique that you taught me and things like that.
And then one final question, Chef Nuit, where would you live, Toronto or Thailand? Is this the infamous question?
My answer will be both.
Yes.
Yeah, half. I would say half. Yeah. I love both places. I can't choose.
Yeah, it's a hard choice. I hope one day to go to Thailand when you're there. Visit my brother too when I'm there. I
yeah.
have to. And I want the audience to know where they can find you and keep up with all your adventures and all your slow nature walks.
I would say, yeah, I have to be engaged more for my social media
Yeah,
as well because
that's
I have
okay.
so lots of contents and story, but because lots of times I have idea, but then because of the passion is more to cooking.
Yes,
So that's
it's
why
hard to-
it's just like that to put it
But this is
together.
why you have a good team.
Yes.
So
yeah.
they can find you at Chef Nuit, right?
Yes, on Instagram will be Chef Nuit regular.
Okay.
And if they wanna connect with the story and what's going on, Jeff is the best person.
He's so
that
good.
He's very good at that. So follow at Pie Toronto
Okay.
on Instagram, and yeah, so that will be to social media that we use
Most
or
active.
come to visit us at Pie Restaurant.
Of course, in real life is the best.
Or at Kin with we have like a tasting menu now.
Oh.
The Royal Thai Inspiration Thai food with at Kin.
I have to go. I haven't been in since years now, so I'll come back. But thank you so much for coming. It was such a pleasure chatting with you. There's so much to talk about now, to learn more about you and your family, and hopefully come visit you in Thailand next time.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
ขอบคุณค่ะ thank you